Welcome, my bountiful friends. It's time to grab a towel and a cup of tea because today we're going to be going on a short trip around the cosmos in Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This story centers on an unfortunate and surreal turn of events that turn average man's life upside down. As usual, I'll be diving deep into the meaning of life, the universe and the world as we know it. And as always, there'll be as many spoilers as there are Babel fish and improbable events. And there will be plenty of opinions too, so you have been warned. But before we begin in earnest, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Douglas Adams was born in Cambridge in 1952 and raised in Brentwood, Essex, where his teachers quickly noticed his talent for writing and humour. He attended Brentwood School and later St John's College, Cambridge, where he joined the Footlights, the famous student comedy troupe that nurtured talents of the likes of Eric Idle, Stephen Fry, Hugh Laurie, Griff Rhys-Jones and many others. This experience honed his comedic timing and gave him exposure to the world of professional satire. After university, he struggled to establish himself as a writer, working odd jobs while pitching scripts. He briefly collaborated with Graham Chapman and Monty Python, contributing to sketches such as Patient Abuse, which helped him gain credibility in the British comedy circles. His breakthrough came when he pitched the idea of a science fiction comedy to the BBC. He had long been fascinated by the genre, and the concept reportedly struck him while lying drunk in a field in Innsbruck, Austria, staring at the stars and imagining a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The BBC's radio producer Simon Brett commissioned the first series in 1977, intrigued by Adams's blend of absurd humour and speculative imagination. Writing the scene was arduous. Adams was notorious for missing deadlines and often wrote in bursts of last-minute inspiration. In his early days, he worked primarily on a manual typewriter, drafting and redrafting scenes, sometimes even sleeping under his desk at the BBC in order to finish scripts. Although it's worth noting that he famously was an early adopter of computer technology and would go on to write the Hitchhiker sequels using an Apple II and later Macintosh computers. The first episodes underwent multiple revisions, with producers and script editors reviewing drafts to balance Adams' surreal digressions with coherent narrative flow. His research was eclectic. He drew on astronomy, physics and philosophy, but always filtered them through his own personal comic lens. He also mined his own experiences in bureaucracy and media, parodying the absurdities he observed in his daily life. The first radio broadcast aired in March 1978, and its success led to the adaptation into novel form in 1979. He wrote much of his first book in London, often in chaotic conditions, revising heavily to transform episodic radio scripts into a cohesive narrative. Friends and colleagues, including editors at Pan Books, provided feedback, helping him refine the balance between satire and storytelling. His early life, marked by intellectual curiosity, comedic apprenticeship, and professional struggles, directly informed the style and development of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. His ability to merge scientific wonder with comic absurdity was nurtured by Cambridge Footlights, sharpened by Monty Python, and finally realised through the BBC's willingness to experiment with radio comedy. The main cast of the novel embody archetypes of bewilderment, wit, chaos, rationality, and despair. while the secondary characters expand the satirical universe, representing bureaucracy, artistry, misplaced faith, and comic absurdity. Together they form a rich tapestry of cosmic satire, each character reflecting aspects of human nature refracted through absurd science fiction. The main protagonist, although he's actually more of a passive witness to be honest, is Arthur Dent. He's a bewildered Englishman, a radio programmer by trade, who survives the Earth's sudden and total destruction. He's incredibly ordinary, anxious, and perpetually confused by the increasingly bizarre chain of unfolding events. He becomes deeply attached to the few possessions that remind him of his lost home, namely tea and his dressing gown. He represents the everyman thrust into cosmic absurdity and often reacts to the outrageous events with incredulity and frustration. Ford Prefect is Arthur's alien friend and journalist from Beetlejuice, who has been on Earth for some time posing as a human. He's witty, eccentric, resourceful, and possessed of a dark sense of humour. He's a seasoned galactic hitchhiker, existentially detached from all local events, yet shows incredible fondness and loyalty towards Arthur. Zaphod Beeblebrox is the quirky two-headed, three-armed ex-president of the galaxy. He's hedonistic, narcissistic, reckless, and excessively flamboyant. He embodies chaos and self-indulgence, often driving the plot forward through his impulsive actions. Trillian, aka Trisha Macmillan, is the only other human survivor of Earth, having left the planet with Zaphod earlier. She's intelligent and pragmatic, and studied mathematics and astrophysics. She's also rational and adaptable, and is often the grounding force in the group's antics. Marvin, the paranoid android, is the Heart of Gold's resident robot. He's chronically depressed, pessimistic, brilliant, but underappreciated. He embodies existential despair and is a satirical inversion of the cliché of characterless and efficient sci-fi robots. Slarty Bartfast is a Magrithian planetary designer. He's elderly, whimsical, and extremely proud of his work in architecting the Norwegian fjords. He's a representative of cosmic bureaucracy and artistry, and blends humour with grandeur. Frostetnik Vogon Jeltz is the commander of the Vogon fleet that abruptly arrives and destroys the Earth. He's a cruel bureaucrat, and like all Vogons, is infamous for his terrible poetry. He is the embodiment of mindless authoritarianism and the banality of evil. Mr. Prosser is the Earth construction foreman who is tasked with demolishing Arthur's house. He's a mild, conflicted descendant of Genghis Khan. He's a comic figure of petty bureaucracy who gets a taste of his own medicine when the Vogon demolition fleet arrives. Eddie is the Heart of Gold computer, the ship's AI who is cheerful, chatty, and overly optimistic. He's the comic foil to Marvin's gloom, embodying shallow positivity. Deep Thought is a supercomputer built to calculate the answer to life, the universe, and everything. It's a monumental, patient, and enigmatic machine. It's a symbol of misplaced faith and efforts to obtain ultimate answers. The story begins with Arthur Dent discovering that his house is about to be demolished to make way for a bypass. His protests are interrupted by his friend Ford Prefect, who reveals that he is not human but an alien researcher for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Ford explains that the Earth itself is about to be destroyed by a fleet of bureaucratic Vogons to clear space for a hyperspace bypass. Moments before the planet is obliterated, Ford manages to hitch a ride for himself and Arthur aboard one of the Vogon ships. Their time aboard the Vogon ship is short-lived, as they are quickly discovered and subjected to Vogon poetry as punishment, before being ejected into space. Against astronomical odds, they are rescued by the Heart of Gold, a revolutionary spaceship powered by the Infinite Improbability Drive. On board are Zaphod Beetlebrox, the eccentric two-headed, three-armed ex-president of the galaxy, and Trillian, the only other human survivor of Earth. The ship's crew also includes Marvin, the paranoid android, a robot cursed with intelligence and chronic depression, and Eddie, the ship's overly cheerful computer. The group then embarks on a series of improbable adventures. Zaphod reveals that he has stolen the Heart of Gold for reasons even he cannot fully recall, though he suspects it is connected to a mysterious quest. Their travels eventually lead them to the legendary planet of Magrathia, once home to a race of beings who built custom-designed planets for wealthy clients. There they meet Slarty Bartfast, a planetary designer who proudly recalls crafting the fjords of Norway. He explains that the Earth was itself a constructed planet, commissioned as part of a vast experiment to determine the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. The supercomputer Deep Thought had previously calculated the answer as 42, but the question itself remained unknown. Earth was designed to generate the question, but its destruction by the Vogons has prematurely ended the experiment. As the novel closes, Arthur and his companions narrowly escape further danger and are set off together in search of new adventures, with the promise of continuing their improbable journey across the galaxy. The narrative ends not with resolution, but with the group propelled into further uncertainty, establishing the foundation for the subsequent books in the series. The Hitchhiker's Guide is distinguished by a style that blends sharp wit, absurdist invention, and a conversational narrative voice. The prose is marked by its playful irreverence, often breaking conventional storytelling boundaries. Adams frequently deploys digressions, parenthetical asides, and mock-serious explanations that mimic the tone of encyclopedic entries, while simultaneously undermining them with comic exaggeration. This stylistic approach creates a rhythm that oscillates between brisk narrative progression and whimsical detours, giving the text a unique cadence that feels both spontaneous and meticulously crafted. The atmosphere is one of cosmic absurdity. It's a reality where the vastness of space is juxtaposed with the trivial concerns of its characters. Adams cultivates a sense of unpredictability through the use of the Infinite Improbability Drive, which allows events to unfold in wildly improbable ways. This device not only advances the plot but also reinforces the atmosphere of playful chaos, where the unexpected is not only possible but inevitable. The result is a narrative environment that feels perpetually unstable, yet consistently humorous. Dialogue plays a central role in shaping the style. Characters often engage in exchanges that highlight their contrasting personalities. Arthur's bewildered protests, Ford's sardonic detachment, Zaphod's flamboyant bravado, and Marvin's deadpan gloom. These voices are distinct and exaggerated, contributing to an atmosphere that is simultaneously comic and surreal. The interplay of dialogue and narration ensures that the novel maintains a lively conversational tone, inviting readers to feel as though they are participants in the absurdity rather than distant observers. Overall, the style of Hitchhiker's Guide is defined by its playful narrative voice, inventive use of digression, and sharp dialogue, while the atmosphere is one of cosmic absurdity, unpredictability, and comic surrealism. Together they create a reading experience that is lively, eccentric, and unmistakably distinct. One of the most prominent themes is meaninglessness and happiness. Characters repeatedly search for the significance of existence, most famously through the supercomputer Deep Thought's response to the calculation to life, the universe, and everything, the legendary succinct 42. This anticlimactic, banal, and utterly uninformative revelation underscores the futility of seeking an ultimate meaning to life. Adams suggests that the relentless pursuit of cosmic answers often prevents people from enjoying life's more immediate experiences. Closely tied to this is the theme of absurdity and improbability. The novel thrives on improbable events, such as Arthur and Ford being rescued by the Heart of Gold at the precise moment they were ejected into space. The infinite improbability tribe embodies this theme, generating wildly unpredictable outcomes that highlight the universe's chaotic nature. Bureaucratic absurdity also plays a role. From Arthur's house demolition notice hidden in a locked filing cabinet to the Vogons' destruction of Earth through a hyperspace bypass. Another central theme is power and control. Arthur Dent's journey begins with his powerlessness against local bureaucracy and expands to his helplessness in the face of galactic forces. Authority figures such as the Vogons or Zaphod Beetlebrox are portrayed as incompetent, indifferent, or absurdly self-serving. Adams framed power as inaccessible and often meaningless, satirizing both political systems and bureaucratic hierarchies. Finally, we have the theme of perspective and insignificance, which runs throughout the narrative. Earth's destruction early on in the novel illustrates humanity's smallness within the vast galaxy. Yet paradoxically, Earth was central to the cosmic experiment to discover the ultimate question. This inversion highlights the tension between human self-importance and cosmic irrelevance. So we can see that Adam uses humour and satire to explore existential meaninglessness, the absurdity of bureaucracy, the instability of power, and the inevitability of curiosity. These themes are not resolved but continually refracted throughout improbable events and comic inversions, ensuring that the novel remains both entertaining and philosophically provocative. When the original radio series debuted on BBC Radio 4 in 1978, critics praised its originality, inventive sound design, and witty dialogue. It was seen as groundbreaking for its ability to blend science fiction concepts with quintessentially British humour, setting it apart from many other radio comedies of the time. The success of the radio format quickly led to novel adaptations, beginning in 1979, which expanded the universe and solidified Adams' reputation as a unique literary voice. The success of the radio format quickly led to novel adaptations, beginning in 1979, which expanded the universe and solidified Adams' reputation as a unique literary voice. The novels received widespread acclaim, particularly the first instalment, which was lauded for its satirical take on bureaucracy, technology, and everyday life. Reviewers highlighted Adams' distinct prose style, marked by absurdist invention and philosophical undertones, as a refreshing departure from the often self-serious tones of the popular science fiction of the time, embodied by the likes of Arthur C. Clarke and Isaac Asimov. While some critics noted that later volumes occasionally lost focus or became more self-indulgent, the series as a whole was embraced as essential reading for fans of both comedy and speculative fiction. By 2005, the novels had been translated into more than 30 languages, underscoring their global reach. The television adaptation in 1981 further expanded the franchise's audience. It received generally positive reviews with praise for its inventiveness and humour, though some critics felt that it struggled to capture the full charm of Adams's prose. The 2005 feature film garnered a more divided reception, with some appreciating its modernisation and others lamenting the loss of the original's eccentric tone. Despite these variations, the franchise's enduring legacy is undeniable. The series has been ranked highly in literary polls, including 4th place in the BBC's Big Read survey of the nation's favourite books. Its influence extends beyond literature into popular culture, with phrases like "Don't Panic" and "42" becoming shorthand for existential humour. Anniversary celebrations such as the 40th anniversary radio revival in 2018 demonstrate its continued relevance. In retrospect, critics and scholars view The Hitchhiker's Guide as a cultural phenomenon that shaped the boundaries of science fiction comedy. Its legacy lies not only in its multimedia adaptations, but also in its ability to connect with generations of readers, writers, and creators, and in embracing absurdity, wit, and imagination as tools for storytelling. So, this novel has been floating around in the common culture for close to 50 years now, and many of its aspects have become cultural icons and joined the lexicon to describe those rare occasions when the absurd or surreal intrudes upon the normality of life. Adams enjoyed a life in the limelight with considerable editorial control over the development of his fictional universe, and was often quizzed personally regarding any hidden deeper meanings behind his work that touches on some of the biggest questions out there, although in a reverent fashion. He's recorded as saying on multiple occasions that he picked 42 arbitrarily. He is quoted as saying, "The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42. I chose it because it was a funny number, nothing mystical, it just had a sort of resonance." He even complained about people overanalyzing it, joking, "It could just have easily have been 43. But here's the rub. Writers often channel archetypes unconsciously. Even if Adams didn't study Kabbalah, he landed on a number already weighted with mystical associations. Perhaps the novel has something deeper to say hidden beneath its jovial facade. The first thing that struck me was that Dent's home being destroyed by the petty bureaucrat Mr. Prosser was then top-trumped by the Vogons coming along and destroying the Earth itself. This invokes both Budic karma and the Hermetic principle of as above, so below. And later, the fact that the Earth turns out to be an especially commissioned artifact for Deep Thought's cosmic experiment to discover the meaning of everything is a reflection of the Hindu philosophy of Advaita Vedanta. And the legendary answer of 42? Well, firstly, we have an odd literary connection with Lewis Carroll's writing. Carroll was deeply numerologically minded, loving logic puzzles and symbolic numbers, and he used 42 repeatedly. There was Rule 42 in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, where all persons more than a mile high must leave the court. There were 42 illustrations in the first edition of the book, and The Hunting of the Snark consists of 42 stanzas. It is not known if Carroll was aware of the Jewish numerology system known as Gematria, and the significance of the number 42 within the Kabbalah system, but it's highly unlikely Adam's was. It is the 42-letter name of God associated with the Anabi Koach prayer, as shown on the screen now, and it's considered one of the most powerful divine invocations, as it reflects the 42 encampments of the Israelites from Egypt to the Promised Land, which reads as a symbolic stage of spiritual development. In Gematria, 42 links to words for mother, truth, and certain angelic names, and the Zohar, a key book in Kabbalah, frequently calls 42 a gate number into higher wisdom. And going back to the Hermetic philosophy, which is linked with ancient Egypt, we have the 42 assessors of Ma'at. These are spirit judges who question the soul in the Hall of Truth before Osiris. Each assessor requires a negative confession, such as "I have not stolen, I have not killed," thereby equaling 42 moral denials by a soul. 42 here thus becomes the measure of soul integrity and the gateway to eternal life. And so, in summation, yes, Adam said he picked 42 at random. Yet, if you step back and look at mythology, mysticism, and ancient numerology long enough, you start to notice that this random number has been carrying meaning for thousands of years. Some people might say that Adam's accidentally tapped into a very old symbolic pattern without realizing it. Others, especially those drawn to metaphysics, might even wonder whether the ultimate cosmic joke is that the central architect of reality has slipped its own calling card into his unconscious, name-dropping itself through the story. Now, I'm not saying that this is literally true, but it is one heck of a strange set of coincidences that makes one pause for thought. So, what are your thoughts on this tale of random improbable events and oddball characters? Which character did you like the most, and which scene did you find the most profound? Once more, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell icon for more deep dives into the world of literature. Until next time, keep reading, and remember, it's probably best to ensure that no matter what craziness inserts itself into your life, that you don't panic. Right, I'm off to do something amazingly cool now, so all that remains to be said now is so long, and thanks for all the fish.